It's late, and you're sitting there a little embarrassed. Something small just happened. A song ended on a note that caught you off guard. A stranger was kind to you for no reason. A dog leaned its whole weight against your leg like it had decided to trust you. And out of nowhere, your eyes went hot and your throat went tight. Over nothing. Over absolutely nothing. And the first thing you did was glance around to make sure no one saw. You wiped it fast. You laughed at yourself. You thought, what is wrong with me? Why do I feel everything so loudly? So here's the question I want to sit with you tonight. What if there is nothing wrong with you at all? Because I think you already know the feeling I'm describing. You feel things louder than the people around you, and you feel them longer. A small comment from this morning is still echoing in you tonight. A sad scene in a show follows you to bed, and you're still thinking about a character who isn't even real. A tense room makes your stomach hurt before anyone has said a word. You walk into a place, and you can feel the mood of it on your skin, like walking into different weather. Someone says they're fine, and you hear the half-second of something underneath it, and you carry that home too. Other people seem to let things roll off them, and you watch them do it, and you learn to think that was the goal. That feeling less would mean you were finally doing it right. That if you could just care a little less about everything, life would stop hurting in all these small, constant, invisible ways. And the first thing I want to put down, gently, before we go anywhere else, is that this is not a flaw you need to fix. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not weak. You are wired, at the level of your actual nervous system, to take in more of the world than the average person does. That's not a guess, and it's not a comfort I'm inventing. It's a real trait, in real people, and you happen to be one of them. The only thing that's gone wrong is the story you were handed about it. So let me introduce you to the thing that handed you that story. Picture a world that's loud. A world that's blunt and fast, and a little proud of how little it feels. A world that says toughen up like it's a kindness. That calls a tear an overreaction. That looks at someone moved by something beautiful and mutters, dramatic. This world has a favorite word for people like you, and you've heard it your whole life. Sensitive. And it never says it as a compliment. It says it like a diagnosis, like a thing to grow out of. And here's the quiet trick that world runs, the one I really want you to see. It has confused being numb with being strong. Somewhere along the way, it decided that the person who feels nothing is the winner. The one who doesn't flinch. The one who shrugs at the sad news and changes the subject. It put that person on a pedestal and called it strength. And it looked at you, the one who felt the whole thing, and called that weakness. But look closely at what it's actually praising. It isn't praising strength. It's praising armor. It's praising a person so walled off that nothing can reach them anymore. And it's been quietly teaching you to want that for yourself. So of course you tried. We all did. You learned to swallow it. You learned to say I'm fine in a flat little voice while a whole storm went on inside you. You practiced the shrug. You got good at the casual laugh that buries the thing you actually felt. And maybe it even worked for a while. The world nodded at you. Good, it said. Now you're handling it. But here's what it cost, and you know this cost in your body. Pushing the feeling down doesn't make it go away. It just sends it somewhere quieter and meaner. It comes out as a clenched jaw you don't notice until it aches. As that tightness behind your eyes at the end of a long day. As a strange exhaustion after being around people, like you ran a race no one else could see. As lying awake at 2 in the morning replaying a small thing for the 100th time, hunting for the version of yourself who feels a normal, manageable amount. Because you were never actually too sensitive. You were a person with a finely tuned instrument inside you, being told to play it like it was broken. Being told that the very thing that made you good at being a friend, good at noticing, good at caring, was a defect to be sanded down until you were as smooth and unbothered as everyone pretending to be. And that's the thing about an instrument tuned finer than most. Yes, it picks up the harsh notes. The tension in a room, the false note in someone's voice, the sadness in a stranger's eyes that no one else even noticed. It catches all of that, and it can ache. But that same instrument is the only one in the room that can also catch the quiet, beautiful things. The flicker of relief on a friend's face. The kindness hidden inside a clumsy sentence. The exact moment a piece of music opens up. You don't get to feel only the good half. The depth that lets the joy in is the same depth that lets the pain in. They come through the same door. And you left that door open. So let me show you what that door has actually been doing for the people around you. Because I don't think anyone has ever told you. When a friend is falling apart and can't find the words, Who notices first? When someone walks into the room carrying something heavy and pretending they're fine, who feels it before they speak? When a person needs to be sat with, not fixed, just sat with, who knows how to do that without being asked? It's you. It has always been you. The thing the world calls your weakness is the exact thing that makes people feel less alone in the worst moments of their lives. And it gets bigger than your kitchen table. Think about who actually moves the world. The ones who write the song that finally puts your feeling into words. The ones who stay gentle in a job that grinds gentleness out of most people. The nurse who treats a frightened stranger like a person. The teacher who sees the quiet kid in the back. The friend who texts you out of nowhere because something told them you weren't okay. None of that comes from numbness. All of it comes from feeling things deeply, on purpose, and choosing not to look away. The world is not held together by the people who feel the least. It's quietly held together by the people who feel the most. But I won't pretend the hard part isn't real, because you've lived in it. There are nights it genuinely feels like too much. When the world's volume is turned all the way up and you have no dial to turn it down. When you feel everyone's mood in the room and lose track of your own. When a single piece of bad news in the morning can color the entire day gray. And on those nights, the old story comes creeping back in, and it whispers the worst version of itself. It says, see, you really are broken. Normal people don't feel like this. If you were stronger, this wouldn't hurt so much. And I want to meet you right there, at the bottom of that, because that whisper is a lie, and it's a specific lie. Feeling deeply is not the same thing as being fragile. You have not spent your whole life shattering. You've spent your whole life feeling the full weight of things and getting up the next morning and doing it again anyway. That's not fragility. Do you understand how much strength it takes to stay open in a world this blunt? Anyone can go numb. Numbness is easy. Numbness is the path of least resistance. Staying soft, staying able to be moved, refusing to wall yourself off even after everything that's reached you through that open door, that is one of the bravest things a person can do. You've been doing the hard thing this whole time and calling yourself weak for it. So here is the turn, the thing I most want you to walk away holding. Your sensitivity was never the bug. It was always the feature. It's not a malfunction in an otherwise fine machine. It's an instrument, tuned finer than most, that lets the whole of life in, the ache and the beauty both, and lets you give that back to the people around you. It is the source of your empathy. It is the source of your art, whether or not you make any. It's why a sunset can stop you and a kindness can undo you and a friend's pain can become your own. That isn't a smaller life. That is a life felt all the way to the edges. Most people live behind glass. You've been living with the window open this whole time, and you called the wind a weakness. So I want to take you back to the start. Back to you, late at night, eyes hot over something small, glancing around to make sure no one saw. I want you to stay in that exact moment, but feel it differently this time. That wasn't weakness leaking out. That was the deepest, most alive part of you, doing exactly what it was built to do. Reaching out and touching the world, and actually feeling it instead of letting it slide past. You don't have to be embarrassed by your soft heart. That heart is the best thing about you. It's the thing that makes you safe to cry around. It's the thing that makes a room warmer when you walk into it. It's the thing the people who love you would never, ever trade. So you can stop apologizing for feeling everything. You can stop bracing every time you feel the tears come. Stop scanning the room to see who noticed. Stop translating your own heart into something flatter and more acceptable before you let it out. You can stop trying to dim a light that was only ever a gift. The world has plenty of numb. It is not short on people who can shrug off the sad news and keep scrolling. What it's always been short on, what it's always quietly needed more of, is people like you, who feel it all and stay tender anyway. So if any of this felt like someone was finally describing the inside of you, then no, it isn't just you. And no, you were never too much. There's a whole room of us in here who feel everything too loudly and have made our peace with it. So stay a while. Bring that soft heart of yours. There's nothing to fix here, and the lights are on.